There we are. And welcome to this live stream, the first Sunday live stream. Still not sure if I am actually live. Let's wait a second here. There, and welcome to this live stream, the first of my regular Sunday live streams. I am really glad that you've joined me, and this is going to be a regular thing. Every Sunday at 8, I am going to have a live stream, and in this, the first live stream, I have painted for about 2 weeks now a lot of paintings with my Forces of Nature theme. So fires, wind, and everything. They have now dried, and I've realized that they need a second layer. They need, for wind and things like that, for atmosphere, it needs to dry once so that I can paint a layer on top and really get life into them. And so that's what we're going to do in this live stream. The first one is actually the first one I painted for the Forces of Nature theme. It's a fire painting. And what I thought we would do here is just go in and add more atmosphere to the painting. So more color, and the lovely thing now is that I can paint in front of everything that I painted. And that's what I really, really enjoy here. At this stage, when it's completely dried, it's now possible to add on to the painting in ways that you can't in the first layer. So those of you who paint with acrylics don't have this problem. It dries so fast, but with oils it takes quite a while before it's dried enough that you can paint on top of it without ruining the entire painting. So first I think I'm just going to start with different colors, and then we're just going to see. I want to have a little border here too, so that the fire really illuminates the tree. I should never say what I'm going to do, because then inevitably I do something else. And I seem to be live here, which is very good. And I'm just going to see if I can't move a little thing. There we are. So that I can see the chat properly, and then we can dive right in and start painting, I think. There. Alright, I'm just going to start with a little border here. So what I really wanted to do is I really wanted to have a line. Just going to do a line first, and then we can do that more properly. I think everything can be seen. Hello from Pennsylvania. Welcome, Carl R., to the stream. Glad to have you here. It always takes a little while for these streams to really get going, and for those that are going to join me to really establish themselves and come. So I'm glad to see you here. So that's of course always with these live streams. I really, really enjoy the company, but that always takes a little while before that really settles in. So here we have the line. I think that's... Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, it's I so enjoy the fact that it's possible to invite people in and to have a more of a social setting here. I always paint alone here up in the mountains, and it's nice to have people here. So what I wanted is that this fire, of course, is a huge fire, should light up the entire border here. Let's play a lot with light and shadows and have everything really illuminated. This Forces of Nature theme has been so much fun to do. I have painted a lot and a lot of different things. I'm really, really enjoying it. Let's see, what I did want to do, I built my own little thing to hold the brushes, and I thought it might be nice to have the brushes and to have the turpentine and everything in the in the frame. Yeah, so I've been painting a lot, learning a lot of new things. I've never painted fire before. There's so many things that I haven't painted before, and which is new to me in this launch, that I'm going to be working on now until March. but it's really a lot of fun. I'm going to do a lot more of that in my future work. I've wanted to do something like this for a while, but it's always been a bit daunting. It's always so easy to just kind of do the thing that I've always been doing, and then to challenge myself with something completely new is always a bit scary. Good morning, turning in from Germany. Oh, welcome, Saturn. Welcome to the stream. I am glad you are. I hope that in time this can really be something that you can. I've wanted to have streams like this that are regular every the same time and the same day of the week, and it is going to be now. As with my new video that I just uploaded, the new episodes are going to come out at the same time too. So it is with the live stream. And even if I'm somewhere else, then I'll stream from there and stream that. So that really is the goal. And I'm going to be really interested to see if we can build up. I already have a lot of you that are actually regulars here, and to build that up even more. So I'm glad that you're joining me and following along here. And feel free to chat about anything at all with me, with each other. My goal with these live streams is really to open up a little space. But we're going to be going for at least 2 hours. I now have my phone can't actually take a charging cable, which means that I have no limit to how long I can stream, although the promised stream is for 2 hours. So at least we are going to go until 10. And I think there's a lot that we can get through. I always love the second layer of paintings, because so much of the hard work is already done. Everything has been established. I know where everything is going to be, and I can just go around the painting. And I think it's one of the most kind of how do I say that? It's the most satisfying part of painting in a way, because you can have such an impact, but you don't have any of the difficulties. Okay, what I wanted more proper red and then some oranges into the fire. So let's go with the really strong red. I have to be a little bit careful, of course. I'm happy with the painting to a certain extent. I don't want to ruin it. So I wanted more color. So let's get some of the reds in. If I look over here, it's to look at the chat, and if I look here, it's to look into the camera. Okay, let's just decide where the reds are going to be. It's all completely dry, which means that it's a little bit different to paint on with, or as opposed to wet and wet. Something like that. Let's get a different brush. I really want this fire to really shine. Do you have a touch of carpal tunnel? I see you starting to use the support. Well, yes, I do. So, talking about the my bandages around my arm. There are different reasons. Yes, it hurts. Actually, this is from a different. I fell on my arm, so it's actually not from painting. Although I often use it on my other arm too. And it is because it hurt, but it's also so that I don't, I can use it here, so that I don't do this when I paint. The wrist shouldn't move when you paint. But I've never learned to paint like that, so I move my wrist way too much. So it's actually, I'm going to keep it on, even when it doesn't hurt anymore, so that I can get a proper. Now don't have it on for the live stream, but otherwise I'm gonna have it on so that I learn to paint properly. Because if you do that too much, I strain this part and it hurts. So that's why I use the support. And especially when I have a candle glass standing here, I've been painting it like that a lot, and that has really done a number on my arms. So yeah, that's the reason. That's one of the hazards. There aren't a lot of hazards with being a landscape painter, but that's one of them. I know there are some horror stories from the Chinese landscape painters, of one landscape painter who sat the wrong way, who always bent over his desk, and at some point he could only walk in 90 degrees because he was stuck in his painting position. So there are definitely things I would like to avoid. This I like. I like this color. So we're just gonna do that. I'm gonna try to sneak in some paint behind the tree. I like more color here, definitely. And let's get a little bit of that. I'm gonna get some of that fire movement in, but first I just want to decide where the color should be. Hello from Slovakia. Thank you for thank you for telling us about the live stream. Yes, finally I have managed to tell you guys ahead of time, and I'm going to do that every time. It's going to be this time every week, and I'm always going to tell you in advance for these live streams. I've been doing a lot of spontaneous live streams where no one was there. But now I've established it. I think I have the setup, so absolutely. Yes, I am so glad, and especially when I finally have started to actually let you guys know we can really establish a little community here. I've realized that more of you have actually learned a little bit at least to know one another too, which I think it's really really nice. And hopefully we can do a lot more of that and establish a little community here. I mean, 2 hours, 3 hours once a week is actually quite a lot. It adds up over time. The nice thing here is if I paint on top of what's underneath, you still get different colors. Keep having to look over if there's anything going on here. So I like the red parts here. And then we're going to add in more. So it should really, really be a strong color here, and then it can really, really shine. I'm going to have to add some reds down here. I actually think there is a lot more work here to be done than I thought. For instance, if I'm just gonna, it seems to be completely dry, which I wasn't entirely expecting, which is really good because it means I can do things like that. I can actually paint completely on top. You can still see the trees and everything behind it, but it bathes it in the color in a way that is, at least for me, difficult to do on the first time around. And it really makes it appear like it's into the flames. I think we can light some of these trees afire too. Then we can add in more color again afterwards. It seems to... I only realized that today, that I could do this on all of my paintings because they dried a lot faster than I thought they would. And so I came up with this idea that we can just do this for the live stream, and I think it's going to be fun. And this painting, as it was my first fire painting, I'm really enjoying to update it now. I used to do this a lot, to paint second, third, fifth, and sixth and eighth layers on my paintings, and often I would destroy the painting with doing that. But I find now that if I paint at least the second layer, they get a lot more feeling to them and a lot more depth, and I can do things that I can't on the first try. Just noticed, passing 1K subscribers. Thank you very much. Yeah, I've been trying to take it a little bit more seriously now, and a little bit experimenting with some shorts and so on, and it seems to, perhaps it can start to grow a little bit. I've had a long time behind me now of experimenting. Hopefully the community can grow a bit. Hi from the Netherlands. Having a regular time is really such a nice idea, especially to create a little community with it too. Joining for the first time, would love to join more often. Oh, wonderful. Oh, welcome to the stream. It's nice to have first-time viewers here too. And welcome. I'm so glad to have you guys here. I absolutely want to build a little bit of a community here. And I think it's so nice to be able to do this and have you guys from all over the world join me here. It's such a privilege, it's such a gift, and I'm always so happy after we've done a live stream like this. They always turn out so nice. um, and I always end up having a really good time here. So yeah, welcome, and I really hope that you will join more often. And yeah, definitely, that's going to be a lot easier if I actually have it at a regular time. And it's been established. It's this time. It's just going to stay like that. I know if I have something regular, if I have a routine, I can follow it. If I have any wiggle room whatsoever, it falls apart very, very quickly. But if I have a routine that I can stick to, then I can follow it. And this I can definitely follow, I am sure. It just needs to be important enough and it needs to be strict enough. I always thought, and I am quite a chaotic person, um, and so I thought that routines wasn't something I liked. But I've realized that since I am such a chaotic person, routines actually suit me incredibly well. It's kind of a strange oxymoron, but there it is. Grateful to have my soul sister here with me. Carrie. Oh, wonderful. That's exactly what I hoped, that you guys can get to know each other a little bit. Or perhaps you knew each other already. Um, that is wonderful. Yeah, and it seems to be a lot more happening here now in the stream once I've actually announced it. Okay, let's add a little bit more, a little bit brighter color. I think this orange red is something we can add in now. So let's do that at the border, and we can probably go on top of the yellow because we're gonna go in. Oh, that looks really nice, I think. And then we're gonna go into orange and yellow afterwards. So everything that I'm obscuring here, that it looks darker than it actually was, it is going to look lighter again once I get there. But it's such a lot more stronger colors now. That wasn't good English. The colors are so much stronger now, and it's really, really going to pop, I think. Hi from Canada. I love the colors. Oh, thank you, Sarah. I was going to say welcome to the stream, but you have often been here. So welcome back to the stream. Nice to have you here. Yeah, I think it's been so much fun to do these colors and this theme. Actually, I was thinking I was going to sneak it behind the trees, but it's so dry that I can just paint on top. This is very, very helpful. I would advise against trying to do this technique unless you know that the painting is dry. I have ruined so many paintings with being with painting on top of the painting and then doing a huge brush stroke over the entire painting and just destroying everything. So be very, very sure that the painting is dry, but when it is, this is a lot of fun. I can really advise it. If you have an old painting that you didn't finish and you kind of put away for a while, then try out going on top of it, painting an entire layer on top of it. It's a lot of fun. Hello, Krusty! Welcome! Love the new series. Thank you so much, Krusty. And yeah, welcome very much to the stream. Always enjoy having you here. Krusty is one of our Lena's and my absolutely most dedicated supporters. I very much appreciate it. And Colors too, I think. Very much part of the community here. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, this every 2-3 months I paint a new theme, a new for our online shop. And that's everything that I paint then is in that theme, and that then comes into the shop after those months. And this time I have done this is a forces of nature, so I think the name kind of speaks for itself. It's snowstorms, fires, everything that's kind of forces of nature basically. So and that means a lot of things that I've never done before I'm doing now. Okay, with this color, I can go in and do a little bit of that fiery movement. Can do that later too, but I just wanted to have a little bit of that so that we know what we can do later. That movement. I've been doing a lot of staring at videos and our own fireplace and kind of trying to figure out how fire moves and behaves. We can do that afterwards. Let's do the main things now, I think. I have a different painting afterwards, which is going to be a lot of fun. Oh, thank you. I have my... I'm just going to show you now. So this is the one that we're going to paint on afterwards. If we get that far. So that's going to be fun too. I like the Nordic spirit you all have. It's so interesting. Since I have nothing to do with it, but I admire your hardworking attitude and appreciation to nature. Oh, thank you, Krasi. Well, sometimes we enjoy the things that are quite far away. That are a bit different than our everyday, I think. Can be quite an enrichment. There, let's get some... Okay, strong oranges. We have to be a little bit careful here. Ah, yes. Here we can get some real movement of the fire. Maybe a little bit more of that. Let's see. I keep having to remember that the light source is the fire. I said at the start, where does the light come from? How is it illuminated? I'm so used to always having kind of a sun or a moon or something as a light source. And then having to remember that, wait a minute, the fire is the light source. So it's illuminating itself from within. It's taken a little time to realize, and I keep having to stop myself from looking for the light source. So I thought it might be nice to get some real shadows in here too. Let's get the fire completely kind of the main parts and where the colors are first. Since the fire is the light source, it's really important to know exactly how big it is and where it is and so on before anything else, really. And let me know if I think the sound is good. I have a mic next to me here, and let me know if it's too loud or not enough or something like that. And if everything is sharp. I can always zoom, but I think it's good to see. I can zoom if if you can't see the painting properly, but let me know. I thought it might be fun to see the entire setup, but actually it might very much be better to just zoom in. There are a few things that I still need to learn here and I'm not entirely sure about. It's probably going to take a while to really perfect this. Forces of nature. But hearing your live streams is always so peaceful and relaxing. Moments here just to enjoy. Oh, thank you, Krasi. You name forces of nature so much. You can focus in on all the elements. Are you planning to paint rainstorms and tornado? And yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I think one of my next ones is actually going to be tornado. I have a little rainstorm that I painted today that I put out as a reel. But a true rainstorm I haven't painted yet. So yeah, those are definitely the things that I want to paint. I have some journals coming soon that I'm going to paint a few of the new things on. You can hear me much better than last time. Very, very good. I have my mic right next to me here. Yeah, it's taken a long time to really figure this setup, but hopefully it's getting there. I have to smooth everything out a little bit. So the thing is, I don't want it to be just. I don't want to obscure the things that are there too much. Let's see. I'm trying to get the picture of the wildfire. So I don't think they ever really go pure white. I mean, of course, we can just do the thing that's going to look the best. But I don't want to have it too kind of yellowy. A little bit of. You can have some pure white really at the middle where it's really burning. It says first kids paintings and what he loved. Just tornadoes. Oh, brilliant. Oh, wonderful. Luna told you. Brilliant. Yeah, it's good that this spreads by word of mouth too. All right. So maybe actually paint with some almost pure white. Just see if that works. So kind of in the heart of the fire. It can be quite light, so I just want to have in the heart of these flames. It should really be. It should really light up. Then we can do some flames in front of that and so on. Let's just see where the light is coming from. Something like that. Sometimes it's actually helpful for me to look at the screen here where I have it. And then, of course, I can paint the trees a little bit. The trees can come back again. But what I wanted to do now that I have the flames mainly kind of established where they're coming from, it's possible to go closer in and focus in on some of the details. But before we do that, I should establish a little bit of the foreground. So what I want is these trees can probably stay like that. But as I said, let's light some of them aflame. I'm a little bit scared of doing that. I've never done anything like that. Other one tree I've painted that's on fire. So if these trees are on fire, we should probably, let's see here. So So flames need to kind of come off of them. It doesn't have to be very clear necessarily. A little bit like, kind of like so. Okay, maybe it does have to be clear. Let's. Sometimes I do have to hold my breath to paint the finer lines. This isn't the best brush to paint lines. Do we have my... No. There, I have the ones that I use for these fine lines. So what I wanted to do is, let's see if we can really light the trees on fire. And I'm just going to light them on fire first, and then I'm going to paint in a dark, the things that are behind the flames, and then perhaps add some flames again. You'll see what I mean. So if you go in here with quite a light brush, and we'll add the fires around the tree. So the wind is coming from one side and it's whipping up the flames. A lot of these flames are from further behind, but the forest here is on fire. So up in the branches here, we're going to have some of the flames. I think a little bit more orange, and then we can add a yellow heart to the flames afterwards. What do you have on your left hand? I've already talked about this. I have a brace. It's this isn't actually from painting. I have these braces from painting because I've kind of damaged my hands a little bit, and I have to make sure that I don't bend them too much. But this actually, I fell on the ice, and so I have to keep it in suspension, not in suspension, but not move it too much. So I have this brace on because every little movement of the wrist really hurts. Otherwise, you'll often see me having braces on my arms so that I don't move them in the wrong way, because I've never really been taught how to properly hold my hand when I paint, so I'm doing it in the wrong ways and I have to relearn it. And basically I've been painting a lot in bad positions. I often do have it on my other hand, but I kind of didn't want to spark too many questions, so I didn't put it on now, because it's not necessary for just 2 hours. But of course you can see my other hand, which I didn't really bank on. But yeah, that's the hazardous life of the landscape painter. See, I think this actually works. So this one can be even fire. And then if we go in afterwards and paint a little bit on the details, actually I can do that right away, just so we have an idea, so that it's possible to see the trees a little bit better again. Let's see which brush I need for that. Maybe this one. Let's use kind of a purpley red black for the tree, because they're kind of bathed in the light, so they're going to have that kind of light from all sides, but we still want to have a strong contrast. It's really good to paint with simply just black, like I've done here. I'd probably paint in some different colors, because things are rarely black. They're usually a shade of something just really dark. And these, I think, we are going to do a little bit like this, kind of a reddish purpley something. So, yes, they're a light, but I would like to see a little bit more of them. Let's see the contrast more. We can paint a lot of the landscape in this color, and then we can kind of add some other colors in. So what I'm imagining is that, I mean, there is wind, but it's mostly touching the fire. A little bit of the trees maybe, so we can bend the trees a little bit to the side too. Can you share a bit about the right position to paint? Sounds interesting. Sure, I can. So the way that you should paint is actually, it's a little bit difficult, but you should not move your wrist. The movement should actually be up. You should move your entire arm, and then hold it. So the movement shouldn't really be in the wrist, as far as I know. And you can kind of move the brush, but actually more of the hand. I paint really, really small and really miniature wise, so I have to move the brush more than just that. But what I'm trying to do is not to do this, because that takes all of these tendons and muscle. That gets strained, and that's not good. Yeah, I don't know enough about that. I actually have to do my own research and figure out more about how I should paint. So don't take it from me. This is something I actually need to figure out more myself. I didn't take it really seriously enough, but since I paint so much, I'm inevitably going to get pains from those things that I don't do properly. And the proper way of painting is definitely one of them. And here I am actually not, I am doing that a bit too much. Well, thank you, Luna. It is it's fine small work, but it is a lot of fun though. I am going to do a little miniature painting as part of my series too. It is something that I could definitely, for those of you, it probably needs a special kind of character, but it can be a lot of fun to do miniature painting. You have an entire world in your fingertips. So yeah, as you can see, I keep doing this, and I really shouldn't. But now that I'm painting live, I'm just well, never mind that. I'm just gonna paint the way that I know how to paint, and at other times I'm gonna worry more about the proper way of doing it. One thing that I have absolutely noticed is important to not kind of be too rigid. It's important to just relax and kind of relax your arm. Every time you tense up, okay, relax it and then continue to paint. If you tense up your muscles, that's going to be a problem in the long run. I mean, none of this is terribly important if you're just painting sometimes as a hobby, but it really gets very important if you paint a few hours or more a day. So this tree here, I think, is not going to be a flame. I don't think all the trees are going to be a flame. I think these, and then it's kind of moving along. Thank you, Classy. What we can do here, I have, just so we know where things are going to be, let's see, I have a little brush here. I have destroyed the brush completely, the tip of it, which means that it's a wonderful brush to paint little bushes with. So I've deliberately destroyed the tip of it so that it's not even. It's incredibly uneven, and it has different kind of ridges and so on. And if I then put that in a little tree color, and tap a little bit of it with, we can just use it to add little bushes on the ground, and you already get that tip. So I use it for leaves and bushes because you already get that just in tipping, and you don't need to go as detailed. because you can't always paint incredibly deep just every little leaf. And a brush like that really, really helps the process. Often you have the leaves and you have the details in the brush already. And then we can use that color as the shadow as well. So the more shadows we have, the stronger the light is going to be. So I really want to have more shadows. It's going to be much, much more impressive. The fire is just going to look a lot more intense if we have some shadows in front of it. What's your favorite element? Whew, that's a little bit difficult. Let's see if I... Oh! Let's not destroy the entire setup. Let's get this more like that. There we are. So my favorite element... well, I do love fire. But I mean element... It depends. So the things that I see as elements when I'm painting now are also things like, I mean, wind is simply movement. Water is something I need to kind of get more familiar with. I think I would have to go for wind. Just that movement in something. Which is what I love with clouds and smoke, is that, because wind as I see it, I've had to think about this so that I could paint it, is when you try to paint smoke, for instance, and clouds for that matter, you just have to try to figure out, well, how does wind move through a medium. And the movement is very similar in fire, in smoke, in water, in clouds, and it kind of makes the same kinds of shapes. And that experience of exploring how clouds work, how wind goes through a cloud, I remember was a very special time, and really, really made me fall in love with that movement that wind creates. But fire is a close second. I really, really, really love fire. um, and I think fire, in a way, is very much my element too. I mean, earth. It's very difficult to decide these things. It's a little bit it's a kind of a mood thing too. I love earth. I love plants growing in the earth. And of course I love life and plants and so on. That's a very difficult question. You are out of focus now. I am out of focus? It has an autofocus, I think, sadly. Am I in focus again? Or do you mean my painting? Because it should have an autofocus. And should I go a little bit closer? Your face, yes. Okay. Let's see if I need to do something like that. Let me know. Oh, right. Alright, let me see if I can... Okay, because focusing on my... I think that's probably the reason. Let me know when I'm in focus again. I can't see it properly. I do have a favorite classical painter. We'll get there once I I am in focus again. Let me know if I am in focus or if it's. I'll have to figure out how to focus it. Now it's okay. Very good. So I absolutely do have a favorite classical painter. I love Caspar David Friedrich is my absolutely top number one um, German painter from the 1800s, from the National Romanticist painters. If you haven't seen his paintings, you'll know exactly what I mean if you look at them. I have learned so much from how he did it, and he was one of the first landscape painters that actually was kind of in the middle of the classical landscape painters and the Impressionists. So he was one of the first ones to really go away from simply painting the landscape and really painting a mood in the landscape. And I was at an art exhibition of his paintings. They're much, much smaller than you'd think, but they're just incredibly beautiful. It was that time when they actually started to appreciate nature for. Well, it was a part of nationalism too, which I'm not that fond of, that part of it, but I don't think you see that in Friedrich's paintings. I think he just painted the mood of the landscape. He painted quite a lot in Norway too, and he was friends with some Norwegian landscape painters that I really like as well, like Isedal, although he doesn't capture the mood as Friedrich does. But hands down, Caspar David Friedrich is my favorite landscape painter. And then you have Astrup Fearnley, which is a Norwegian one, which did incredibly beautiful details, which I really, really enjoy. Then you have the Hudson River School painters. Caspar David Friedrich. That's me. Well, someone might be able to write it in. So it's Caspar with a K, but it doesn't matter how. If you could just write Caspar David Friedrich, Frederick. Write Caspar David Frederick, and you should find it. I think that if you write Caspar David Frederick, you'll find him. And write landscape painter. He's a very, 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 very famous landscape painter, at least in Europe. And in the States, it was at the same time the Hudson River School painted landscape painters. They were much larger actually than the European ones, but are beautiful, beautiful landscapes. There we are, Caspar David Friedrich. And he has been a huge inspiration for me. Now he, none of the painters painted truly from imagination. They always kind of painted off of actual landscapes. But apart from that, it's something I've really, really always aspired to. Let's see here. Alright, I think we need a little bit more color now into the sky. So what we can do now is to get that movement into the painting. Should I zoom a little bit? Let me know if this is better. I then probably need to do something like this. I can see if I can't focus. There we go. Now focusing. Or I can actually do that. And now it's focusing. Maybe that is better. Yes, better. Okay, very good. I have to lean a little bit more. Okay. Oh, that's going to get me out of focus. This setup is a little bit of a pain, but hopefully I am still... No. And there I am in there. Well, when I'm looking into the camera, that should be fine. I have a very complicated, strange setup here. No. Hopefully I am there. And because I need to lean a little bit more in. The painting should be move a little bit to the left now. This is very true. Like that. Something like this, I think. Thank you. Yeah, let me know all of these things. It's very, very important to me. And maybe I could actually move. I don't think I can move this completely. No, I can't. You just I think we're far enough into the stream now that anyone who's been... Oh, no. Come on, focus here. Come on. There we are again. All right. Perfect. Very good. All right. Now, and if I move something like this, it looks a bit creepy, but that's fine. Yeah. I mean, we do have flames down here, so it's only appropriate that I am lit up a little bit as though I'm in a fire. Oh, technology, I'm not good with it. Yeah, it really is a bane. It is not a part of my profession. But now that we live in modern times, it's really important. I don't think Caspar Friedrich had this problem. But of course, if he had live streams still out on the internet from when he painted, that would just be amazing. So if I sit a little bit like this. Okay, that's... Yeah, I thought that might be a good thing. Okay, even if we move this a little bit up, then we shouldn't have that reflection as bad. And we'll move this a little bit. No. A little bit like that. I have a canvas lamp now that I got from Lena, which is why I can do these things. And let's hope that the... And there we are. This should be better. Say, I feel like you're on fire. Well, it looks a little bit like that. The fire is coming from down here. Okay, I can't see the painting quite properly, but that's all right. Oh, no. It should come back in just a second. There we are. Yeah, I think that's fine. All right, let's get back to the painting. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to paint in the movements of the flames here. To really get that feel of the flames licking the sky. So scared when I make these changes that everything is going to go away, but everything seems to still be there. Yeah, so what I want is this feeling of the flames really kind of being alive, and the only way to do that is really have the movement of the flames here, I think. And I have to make sure to only paint in those parts that are already quite alight, so that you get that radiant shine. So I did actually plan to paint on several paintings today, but this seems to kind of stick with me. Now, of course, if you let me know, we can always move on to the next painting. But I'm really in this now. And how long have we been going? Oh, we've only been going for an hour. We still have time. So, and then we can kind of go in again and paint another layer in these very light flames, and then paint a little bit of white, and it should really be they should really be lighting up the sky here. Perhaps some smoke from the fire might be nice, but I'm not entirely decided on that. I can't believe it. Oh, we're almost past. Time flies. Yeah, well, that's very true. I always find that when I paint, that time just goes way too fast. I always need to really know that I can just really sit and paint. Oh, it doesn't focus in on me, I hope. This should be... No, it's focusing automatic. Let's not have that. There we are, and now it shouldn't be focusing in on my hand. I was thinking about smoke too. Yeah, I think some smoke might be nice. We'll have to figure out what color. Of course, the smoke is going to be lit up by the flames. So I have some gray smoke that then goes red at the edges of the fire. It's really nice to listen and watch. I think I'm getting a glass of wine. That sounds very nice. I've already had all of my tea, which is a shame. I should probably have some... Well, I should probably just have a big mug here, but I was a bit afraid that I don't want to have to go to the bathroom or anything like that. We are at least going to be here for another hour, so I absolutely support the idea of getting beverages. I can of course always sit like this too. Should I? Uh-oh. Let's see if this isn't. Well, this is better probably. It's such a complicated setup that I have here. But now you can see me better. And I can probably lean a little bit like, no, I can't. The thing is that I have my camera right in front of my face here. I should probably have it from a... It's a stupid time to try that out now. You made tea once during a live stream, so you can do it again if you want. Oh, true. I actually think I went and I took you guys with me or something. It's... That is true. I did do that. But I can't do that now. I have everything hooked up to my computer, so I can't just take my phone, because my phone isn't actually the thing that's doing the live stream. My live stream now is on my computer and everything is hooked up to it. So sadly, I can't do that. Sorry, I missed the tea making. Well, I haven't made tea this in this stream. Yeah, I remember I took my camera with me on a little walk. But those days are past with this much more complicated setup. So probably I should just have the painting lying on the table in front of me. And then I am considering doing that, but I think it's going to have a real glare. And I probably shouldn't be trying that out while doing a live stream. Maybe next time, because then I can just sit like this and I have it in front of me. Let us see. So, well, I should... Well, you should bring the kettle with you. I was thinking about doing just that, absolutely. I should definitely bring the kettle with me. So what I am considering is, for the next painting, is to I'm just gonna try it. I hope you guys will forgive me for doing this. I just kind of have to try a few things out, and it's actually best to try it out while live to see if it works, and you guys can tell me if it does or not. To remember that you are here, not there. That's the chat. What I wanted to see if I could do is to have the painting on the table, like so, and then to have the camera. Oh, that doesn't work at all, does it? It would probably need to be a little bit like that. Something like this. And if we can get the glare away, that would be wonderful. Does this work? Glare. Yeah, but does this work better? I mean, you can see it. Let me know if this works better. Yes. And is this actually better than my setup was? This is going to do a glare. This, however, might not. Bit to the left again, like so. Well, we can actually do that. Because if I do this, then I can actually see the details. But no, it wasn't any better. What I need is to have it a little bit on the side, a little bit from above, like it was. Zoom in properly, focusing in. Can have the palette there. Needs to be a little bit further away. This can be a bit to the left again. There we are. Okay, and I can see it better now. I can go a little bit further down because I do need to see the landscape. All right. What I was considering, we've been painting around on this for a long time, and I think it might be interesting to start with a new one now. I like both ways if it's better on you for focus. All right. So, let me know. I'm just going to show you the other one, and I think we've done kind of most of the interesting parts on this one. And my idea was, let's remove this. So my idea was to start on this, and we have to do the setup, everything again. Get rid of the glare, so we have to film it from above, I think. Let's see. To focus. Of course, this I could film the other way around. But very good, Luna. Okay. So what I wanted to do here is to just have everything much shinier. This is completely dry too, and we have a fire. We have everything that we want here. Try to see if I can get the setup properly, as close as is possible without too much glare. Do a focus. Thank you, Krasi. Oh, wonderful. Okay. Yeah, I think there is agreement that we're going to paint on this. Is this... Just do have to get the setup right. It doesn't matter too much that there's glare up there, but I would like us to be able to see it properly. Something like that. Both ways look fine for me too. Whatever works best for you. Okay, but very well. Okay, let's focus in on this painting. And what I can do is I can get this a little bit further down, and then I can go a little bit further down. We can move it like so. And I think it's still... Don't mind it. Very good. All right, so what I wanted to do here is I wanted to have it all light up more. Let's get some white first, and let's just light up the lightning bolt. And I have to make sure that my brush is completely clean here. And I want the fire to light up the tree much more. Question is what we do first, and just a little bit of light on the lightning first. You can always do more of that. Just have to clean the brush completely now, and then just get some white on top of the lightning bolt so that it really shines. Let's see if I can. I'm just going to follow the lightning bolt, I think. And then I'm going to go over and smooth it out on top of the bolt. So what this should do, it should make it light up more. This was very difficult to do when everything, because I did all of these paintings I did in one sitting. And while that's good for continuity, for the feeling that when you're in the feeling and painting, it's not so good for things like shine. That's a little bit difficult to manage when it's done in one sitting, because it's going to be painted completely wet and wet. And now that it's dry, it's possible to make this shine much more. So something like this. And of course we can go over it again and again and add more and more shine. This is something that I learned when I did the fantasy painting launch last year. Was this just painting what looked almost like that was I think that was my my lamp that suddenly flashed a bit. I was so fascinated by the lightning you painted last time. Oh right, yeah, I have that too. Yeah, this is the painting I painted right after that one. That painting is dry as well, so that's something we could be doing, but let's see how much time we have, because I have that right here too, and that's that needs to be painted more too. If not, we can keep it for the next live stream. So lightning's been a lot of fun to paint. It's very much a challenge. But yeah, so in my fantasy launch last year, I painted a lot of things that were glowing, and waiting for it to dry and then just painting a layer on top of it, like so, I found always made it glow a lot more. It was a very easy way to make things glow. Hello Susan, welcome to the stream. I'm glad that you managed to join us to our first regular Sunday live stream. I've already been painting a fire painting, and you just arrived to the very beginning of this lightning painting that I have painted. I painted the entire painting in one go, and now we're doing the next layer. You can prolong the live stream by 15 minutes because of the technical difficulties. Yes, we can absolutely do something like that. The thing is, I always wanted to go for 2 hours. If it goes beyond that, that is not a problem. It's the promise is at least 2 hours. Okay, let's make the tree shine more. Let's do basically the same thing that we did on the last painting. because this was done wet in wet, and it was really, really difficult to get these flames to look anything like flames, because the painting behind it kind of soaked it up and everything disappeared. So yeah, and I have to remember now, the flames aren't actually coming from below or anything like that. It's being set aflame by the lightning. In my mind, since it's actually, the lightning is coming into it now, this might be the second lightning, since the tree is already aflame. Maybe it's been struck once already, and now the second lightning is coming. I'm not sure if if a tree is kind of instantly set alight when a lightning strike hits. I think so. Sometimes I think it can be almost instantaneous. Um, I'm not too bothered about the exact. So as I said, a way to solve the fact if it's not instantaneous and it takes a while for the flames to really spread is just to imagine that this is the second lightning. I always find that whenever someone says that a painting is impossible, nature is, there's so much going on in nature that you can almost have anything as long as you don't break some fundamental laws. What? I'm not sure if I'm still broadcasting. If anyone could write, it says here that YouTube is not responding and I might have to reload my stream. If you're still there, let me know. And it's just, and I always provide a story of the painting. This seems to still be live. Are you still there? Yes, I can see you. Okay, then I'm not gonna mind the error message that I have here. Very good. Everything is fine. Yes, we can see you. Okay, then thankfully I didn't shut everything down. So yeah, I was saying that what I'm imagining, and there's always some way, as long as you don't paint two different sets of leaves on a tree or something like that, things that kind of go against the, maybe that's even that is possible, the essentials. Usually nature is more inventive than we can imagine, and there's usually some ways that almost anything could be possible. And I like to always have some stories when I paint these paintings. That's kind of what has happened here. That guides, since I'm painting from imagination here, it guides kind of what's coming. I agree with the idea that anything can happen. Yes, exactly. What is that about? Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely. I often find that people tell, I am keep saying error message, but I'm just going to ignore that. Saying that, oh well, that could never happen. You paint really lovely, but of course it could never look like that. And I think, I mean, there is nature. It can look like almost anything. It's very difficult to paint something that is not in that's not happened in nature. I mean, if you paint some of the things that you see, no one would ever believe you. I mean, rainbow clouds and the rainbows around the moon, and there are so many things that just look way crazier than you would ever paint them, because no one would kind of believe you and it would look kitsch and strange. But nature is incredibly inventive. No, it says excellent. No. I'm just going to ignore the messages I get there then. Okay, so this is fun. I really, 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 I always love the second layer. As I said in the beginning, the second layer of a painting is just so much fun because all of the hard work is already done. And it's possible to just kind of make it better, basically, the painting. And just add colors and do fun things with it. Especially when it's completely dry like this painting. So I wanted to have to be a bit careful not to do too much of it, but a little bit of kind of the color from the fire should be reflected in nature here. Maybe we'll do a lot. The question is, of course, what color should the trees have here? Should they have the white from the lightning or the red from the fire? I'm just gonna have to try it out, what looks best when we get there. All right, let's get the small brush here. And now we can do the dancing of the flames kind of thing. Lightning light. All right, I think you're right. I think absolutely. I think the lightning is going to be very much the stronger light. And it is quite far away from the fire. That I think that's my feeling as well. That it's going to be the lightning that gives the light. I think maybe the lightning is stronger than the fire. Yeah, I absolutely, Luna. I think when a lightning strikes, the energy is so much more powerful than even really strong fires. I think in that flash, in that second of the lightning, that is definitely going to be the strongest. We might want to have some sparks from the fire too flying about. So I think when the lightning strike hits and the flames are just kind of almost exploding out of the tree for a second there. I have looked at a lot of photos to prepare for these paintings of different and videos and so on. But it seems that every single photo I'm looking at from lightning strikes on trees, they seem to be very unique. It seems to be that every strike very much kind of has its own logic to it. I couldn't see too many clear patterns. And there aren't that many photos of lightning striking a tree because it's quite rare to get that. I think it's often a freeze frame of a video or something. Looks very majestic, very good. That is very good. So let's get some sparks going. Be very careful. Very good, Krasi. I am glad. I am a bit concerned that no one's going to want to have these things. I think they look kind of impressive, the paintings, but I'm not entirely sure if anyone's going to want to have it on their walls. And I know a lot of our customers really like the the calm, nice, gentle nature that I usually paint. But I have a few paintings in mind that are going to be forces of nature, but are going to be more the aftermath. So I thought, for instance, how to create a more peaceful and lovely painting and still have the forces of nature is, for instance, in the aftermath of a fire. The green shoots are going to come out, and you can kind of see how life comes back again after the destructive fire has been through. I think I'm going to do a few things like that to kind of not just have the entire launch being paintings like this way. I think it can be a little bit overwhelming. Thank you, Kalle. Welcome to the stream. I'm glad to have you here. I really enjoyed your last stream. So yeah, as I was saying, this is now finally going to be a regular thing. These live streams. I remember I did a live stream with color. That was it 2 years ago, and my setup was just my phone. Color, of course, had his advanced, much more advanced than I have here, the professional setup, and I felt so shabby with my little setup. And now at least I am a little bit closer to Color's insane professionalism of a beautiful setup. That definitely spurred me on to at least try to make it better. Yeah, it was an interview. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. A long time ago now. It seems like a very long time ago. I think 1 or 2 years. Lighting with a kuno. That absolutely, I'm going to make a candle glass with lightning. Definitely. It was still a fun live stream. It was definitely a fun live stream. It was really fun to interact live. I'm gonna have to do that again sometimes now that the setup is better. And now finally I can actually go live on YouTube. We had to do it on Instagram. I couldn't go live together on YouTube at that time. Now I actually can. Yeah, there were some mean restrictions, but now I've rounded the magical 1,000 number, and opportunities are possible again. Not exactly a force of nature. What about a rainbow? Well, I have done quite a few rainbows, and I did consider if that is actually a force of nature or just a phenomenon. I mean, I have the Northern Lights. Uh, I think a rainbow could be part of a forces of nature painting in the sense that it could be a thunderstorm and it could be a lightning, of course. So, not impossible, not impossible. Absolutely will want those paintings. I would love to have one for sure. Okay, very good. I said earlier I'm a little bit concerned that they can be a little bit too extreme. I know Color in the fantasy launch a year ago, you were in the live stream and you wished for a volcano and kind of the destruction Mordor feel, and now we have it. So I have a volcano painting. I have several volcano paintings. I have volcano candle glasses, and we have fires. So it only took a year, but now finally we have the Mordory doomsday feel of painting. I wasn't able to do it then. It really needed its own launch, but now I have it. I remember we talked about that in the stream. Okay, let's do the light from the lightning and just trace the different plants and everything. So what I wanted to do now is I want to trace, let's see what brush I need. I want to trace the light from the lightning. Let's do a white trace on different trees and bushes and so on. Either we're going to ruin it or it's going to look really cool. I think the second. To clean my brush really, really well here. Really, really well. And we'll trace a little bit along. Let's get rid of these. So, let's see if we can't get the light. I have to remember. Okay, the lightning is the source of the light. And then we're just going to trace some lines. If I sound strange while I do this, it's because I often have to hold my breath a little bit. I didn't do it there, because when I hold my breath, my hand doesn't shake as much. I think that will look cool. Absolutely, I can see it in the screen here too. I agree. I think this actually will look quite cool. It's just these are things I have never done before. I have never traced it with complete white, I think, either. All right. I'm often then not sure entirely how much to do. I don't want to overkill. We should trace along most of it. I mean, there are no real clouds or anything to obscure the light. And I mean, we can trace the foreground as well. The foreground, the background, the middle ground. I do hope I keep being afraid that I've lost everyone and I'm just sitting here painting by myself because it keeps giving me this error message. But I'm just going to trust that you are here. And maybe you're all holding your breath with me. Whew. We are here. Very good. Okay. Thank you. Well, I wasn't trying to goad you into having to chat all the time. I know it's nice to just enjoy it in quiet. It's just a stupid error message, but it seems that it doesn't matter. Whew. Holding my breath, yes. Thank you, Grazi. Whew, something like that. Then I think the question is, of course, the tree. Let's see how it looks. Sometimes it's easier for me to look a little bit how it looks in the screen. The fire could have a little bit more light in the heart of it, and then we can add a little bit of details to the tree to get that in foreground again. So I would like to see the tree a little bit more. But let's make the fire, get some yellows in there, some really, really light yellows into the heart of it. And maybe add some things here. For instance, let me just do that right away while I have that thought. What I wanted to do is this doesn't really look detailed enough. It should look a lot more detailed. And let's get a little bit of that in. I can do more of it later. I just had this idea that we should have some more shadows here. Think that it's going to make it look more realistic. So make it a little bit of brown though. This shouldn't be completely purple. And it shouldn't be completely black. As I said, it's rarely that things are completely black. I mean, the lighting probably could make this completely black. But this here, a little bit more like so, I think. And we're going to make it look much more three-dimensional. With some shadows. Of course, you can always do more colors into it again, but I think it already looks a little bit more three-dimensional. I am much happier with this now. Something like that. There. Let's get some light into those flames a little bit more. How many hours or days does it take you to finish a painting like this one? So it probably less than you'd think. So this I painted in one go. It took me probably half a day, so maybe 4 hours or something to paint the main painting. I mean, it can take a long time and it can go a lot quicker, so it's difficult to give a specific time frame. It has more to do with how concentrated I am. If I can paint it in one go and I know what I want, or if I come back and do a little bit and then do it can take a lot longer. So I think 5-6 hours is what it should take. It can take 10. And it can go faster. I often find really that it has a lot to do with the level of concentration. Sometimes I can just sit and not really much is happening for a very long time, and sometimes if I'm completely concentrated it can go incredibly fast. And then I am exhausted afterwards. So second makeover for the The crown, I'm so pleased to it. Well, we need different makeovers here. And I think it does look a lot better now. It is incredible, I think, sometimes how just a few changes can make a huge difference to paintings. Often these tracing a line can just have such an impact. But you need all of the preparation first to really be able to have that. Sometimes you can paint a lot on a painting and it doesn't really look like anything, doesn't look like anything, and then you paint one line and it kind of makes the entire painting. But you do need all of that work first to kind of have that one line create the painting. I think it's like when you paint, I don't, but when people paint, just see if this is focusing. When people paint a human face, and then it doesn't really look like anything, it doesn't have any personality, and then you have this one little white dot in the middle of the eye, and suddenly the person comes to life. I'm going to try to be in the frame while I'm painting here, but I'm difficult for me to see. Whew, I have to hold my breath again, trying to paint these tiny little details here. And I think I like the effect of some sparks. Doesn't have to be much, just some sparks coming off. I think especially a fresh fire like this, there would be some sparks. That is very good to hear. Uh, I often keep painting on my paintings when people say that, oh, it's finished, why do you keep painting? Well, sometimes it's just these small things that can add a lot, and it's very difficult to see that before you do it. To have an idea what kind of effect it would do, it would give it. And then let's get some parts of the tree back. I always think a painting is finished until I see what more you have in mind. Well, that's very much the way I learned to paint. I just kept going on my paintings. And in some ways, they still reflect that. So the first layer is, in a way, the way I painted the finished product a few years ago, and then I kind of the additions get more and more complicated. And at some point, then I can paint in that level of complication right away, and then I can add on more difficult things. So for the three dimensionality, let's get some branches and things in front of the fire. I have to go, but thank you so much. Definitely been enjoying. Oh, very good. Well, thank you so much. You were here for 1.5 hours. I think you're very welcome to join again, and I'm so glad that you joined this time. So good night, and until the next stream, next Sunday. Oh, good night, and thank you for joining. I'm just amazed that so many people are here for such a long time at all. So I'm always very, very grateful that you are joining me here for whatever time you have available. The other side of the world. Very good. Yeah, incredible that that's possible. That it's possible to join up the world in such a way now. So let's get the. Some branches here are not on fire, I think, and let's get those. Let those come back again. And I'm trying to not paint exactly over what's already there, so that that's you can see that in the background, which means that we're going to have more depth to the painting. So I'm not trying to trace exactly the same place. I'm just trying to get another darker layer kind of on top of what's there. So I think we can get a little bit in front of this fire too. So I keep having to try to figure what is in front of what here. It's very important when you're painting like this, since I'm not using a reference, I'm not painting from a photo. You really have to have your own logic kind of in mind when you're painting. What is where? When you're painting from a reference, the light is always going to be perfect because you can just use that what's in the photo. And here you can do really stupid mistakes. You can really paint things that are completely impossible. So it's important to have that story that okay, it's a light from there, the light comes from there, it's growing in this way, and so on. And then you can just kind of let your hand go and paint. I definitely think it is coming more to life, the painting now, than it was when we started. And of course, as always, the more black we have, the more dark color, the more the light parts of the painting are going to come out. I have so many other paintings I could have shown you here now. I've painted a lot of paintings for this launch. Just because I needed to paint the paintings before I can do that kind of a theme on candle glasses and anything. I had so much to learn. Oh, very good. I just had so much to learn for this launch that I've had to do an abnormal amount of paintings basically to practice and to learn the theme. And I am sure that there I have still a lot more to learn. So the further I go along now, I often find that once I'm done with a launch, that's the point when I'm really starting to master what I'm painting. But then I can keep that for the next time. So I know for the fantasy launch, I did try to do some things like this, but I didn't manage it. And now for this launch, I'm getting closer. It's always a process. Just adding a little bit darker color into the darker color here so that we get even more depth. Now I'm trying to figure out what is missing. Of course, a little bit here in the front. And this could be darker too. Let's get a little bit more black here. And then let's add more black to this. And maybe a little touch of dark green into just a little bit into the landscape here. And then some complete black where the light is hitting. My son really likes your painting. Oh, that's nice. Well, thank your son from me. I'm really glad to have him follow along as well. I always think that the praise of children is really the most honest praise that there is. If a child really likes what I do, I always get glad in a very in a just really very honest way because I know that they really like it. You can just see it so much more than you can with adults, and and when a child comes and just says, well, often they don't say that they like it. They just you can kind of just see it in their eyes, and I think that is so precious. Hi, Dagmar. Welcome to the stream. We have been going for almost 2 hours now, but we have a little bit left, and I'm glad that you can join us here. And glad to have you here in the stream. So yeah, the children's eyes, I think, see. Oh, they're just so honest. Yeah, and I really appreciate that. Of course, they'll tell you if it's really not good either. And I think children don't necessarily see the concepts that adults often have. Is if it's good art or not, they just see okay, they like it. And that's the things that I make. I don't try to follow any particular concept or make high art. I just want to make things that I and other people enjoy looking at, and you can kind of feel. That's the important thing. Oh, that is really cool. Yeah, you said that he has that as a passion. I think that's great. Looking at your creations in your web shop and only no notice there is a second page. You can, yeah, yeah, there has been a lot. I have painted a lot of things. There is a second page, absolutely. Um, yeah, so everything I paint it comes into Art of Nature web shop. And now, currently, everything that wasn't sold that I have been creating, as I said, every 2 3 months I have a new theme and we take everything out of the shop that's not gone. And now, until this launch is out in mid-March, everything that I painted last year that's not gone is now out in the shop. So it's very full, the shop. Absolutely. Yeah, I've been painting just a ridiculous amount these last couple of years. And I know people often kind of say, "Oh, don't you find it boring then if the only thing you do is just then paint?" But I find that the more I paint, the more I enjoy it. The most difficult thing is not finding enjoyment in it while I'm painting and finding motivation. The difficult thing is if I don't paint for a while, is then to come back into it. But then the trick is just to sit down and paint something, and then once I'm in, I can then go and I can paint and I can draw inspiration of that which I did before. And so it's kind of this self-fulfilling thing. Yeah, and I'm really curious how these paintings and this theme is going to do once they come out mid-March, I think. As I said, these paintings, of course, they look very different. I mean, it's the same style and everything that I've always done, but they are quite a deviation from what I usually do. But I will sneak in a couple of things with flowers and so on. Forces of nature, I think, is also the resilience of nature and the exuberance of growth. And I plan on painting a dormant volcano with kind of, the slopes of the volcano just really full of life and so on. So there are definitely wonderful, beautiful things that's going to come in this launch as well. I've only begun. I mean, I painted a lot of the paintings now for the launch, but I still have 20 candle glasses, 20 cups. I have 9 journals to paint. I have 20 talismans to paint. I think that's it. I have maybe a few lanterns to paint. I'm gonna have to see if I have time for everything. But yeah, there is still a lot to do. A lot of different themes of forces of nature that has yet to be painted. I thought perhaps earthquakes. I wanted some geysers, some steaming water coming out, some water coming like Yellowstone National Park kind of thing, Iceland. Waterfalls. I've already painted a few of those. Could I say a hurricane? Yeah, earthquakes, more volcanoes, and of course on the cups there should be a fire cup, there should be a fire glass, there should be. I painted some miniature paintings now already with the talismans, so lots and lots and lots and lots of things to do. I am enjoying this contrast now. I think this is good. I think it should definitely be. I think this I might have to varnish with a gloss to really have that black feeling. Sometimes if it's matte, the blackness can go away a little bit. But this really needs that contrast. How would you paint an earthquake? Yes, I have worried a little bit about that myself. What I thought an earthquake is, of course, the rendering of the earth. It could either be in movement, or it could be kind of the after effect of the earthquake. So it would be rifts in the earth, kind of going in different directions. Um, so I think it would be the effects of an earthquake. It's difficult to get the movement of an earthquake into the painting, I think. But I could definitely have the rift. I can have the kind of and you can have falling earth or exploding earth or something like that. So I think there could still be movement in the painting from the earthquake. I'm not entirely sure yet. So many ideas. Yeah, there are so many. I've been collecting ideas for what kind of things I could do. Sandstorms. I have experience. I experienced a sandstorm in Mongolia once, and you have this wall of sand coming your way. It's an incredible experience. Some things I definitely want to capture. And then, I mean, drought would be something. just the cracking of the earth, this really intense sun, snow, a lavine. So that could be, it can be, I'm not sure what it's called in English, the earth, and snow, just in a powerful lavine with all the trees crashing. So that would be something. Snowstorms, of course. I mean, there are so many forces of nature. I mean, hailstorms, rainstorms, blizzards. Um, I have painted a painting of ice blocks falling into crashing in huge waves, would be tsunamis. I mean, there are endless of forces of nature. I'm not sure if I have it, even if I'm going to paint at least 100 items still for the launch. I still don't think I have enough items to get all of these ideas down, because every medium I want to have at least everything that I'm learning. I'm not going to learn it just to paint one thing. If I learn something like a lightning, I'm going to want to have at least 5 different items with that theme. So let's see if I can do all of these things. It might have to be a different launch with the desert theme, and then I would probably need to, I would like at some point to travel around to different places and then have a theme from that place. So desert might be its own, but I think a sandstorm could be cool, especially since I've actually experienced one. So yeah, there are a lot of different ideas that I have for this theme, and let's see how many I can actually fulfill. A lot of this can't be things that I have experienced. So many of these themes are things that you would very rarely see in your life. I mean, wildfires, sadly, we're all going to see a lot more of. But a lavine, for instance, is hopefully not something I'm ever going to see. And so I'm going to have to go a lot of imagination and things. I'm going to have to look at a lot of documentaries and photos and so on. And then I learn how it works, and then I paint from imagination. Full with energy, absolutely. Well, that's really it. It's the energy in this launch that I'm really enjoying. I've often painted quite static and very tranquil things, which is nice. But I am myself quite I am quite a fiery person often, and I really enjoy being able to kind of put that into the paintings now. Snow thing is an avalanche in English. Oh, a lavine. Eine Lawine, that's German. It's not even Norwegian, it's German. An avalanche. Yeah, a lavine sounded a bit strange. I was thinking about that. Lavina, yeah. An avalanche. The English speaking people saying, lavine, what could that be? Lavine, that sounds maybe like a wine or something. It's the same lavina in Slovak language too. I think apparently maybe it is actually from the, I mean, in German it's a lavine and a lavine. Maybe it comes from Slavic languages. Because an avalanche sounds completely different. Be interesting to hear what it is in kind of Italian. Maybe it's from Latin. In Norwegian, it's just called exactly what it is. It's just, isn't it? Snöskred, yeah. Snow glide. I thought you were saying a ravine. well, well, a ravine is absolutely something that I could be painting too, but it's not full of snowy energy. I do get a little bit confused with all of these different languages. I speak German with Lena, we live in Norway, and I always listen to almost everything I listen to is English, and of course, all of the social media is in English. It is a bit confusing, but it's very helpful here to have. I mean, we're an incredibly diverse community here, and there are people from everywhere. So there's always someone who understands and can correct, which is very, very helpful. Lavigne. I'm just trying to figure out where that's coming from. Because it doesn't make any sense in either German or there's no meaning to it that I can find. And avalanche, that does sound a little bit kind of romance language. All right, I think we're getting there, and we are actually a little bit above the time. Trying to look at this from a little bit further away. If we have it like that, I can see it a little bit better without the glare too much. Slow, I prefer to doing in English too. It feels like a second. Yeah, it does. Well, it's very helpful to have English now because it is of course the world language. So, I think this is it now. I mean, we've gotten very far with this painting. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. We can see the setup here. I'm going to put the other painting next to it. And I'm going to clean my brushes and just thank you everyone for joining me here today. It's been a lot of fun, and it's really, really nice to do this at the same time. So next Sunday I'm going to be here, and we're going to have a live stream then as well. And it's so nice to have you guys here and to kind of build this community. It's just such a joy. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me here. Let's zoom in a little bit here and we can see what's been created. I'm going to zoom in there and I'm going to clean my brushes a little bit. I don't like to quit these streams too quickly. So yeah, thank you. It's always so much fun. Preferred language. No, it's good the world has a preferred language. I agree. There should be. It's just easier to have one language that everyone learns. Yeah, thank you, Krasi. Yeah, good night, everyone. Hi, how is the German going? The German is going well. I am trying to learn the German R, the R, instead of the R that I have in Norwegian. So that's my German project at the moment, to learn that better. I'm trying to not sound as Alpendeutsch and have the more standard ah. This is difficult. Yeah, have a nice evening, you too. And yeah, just I'm always so pleasantly surprised that so many of you join me for such a long time in these streams. It's such a joy to have you here. And more, I think, when we have these live streams, it just feels more and more familiar. I'm getting to know everyone, and it's such a joy to have everyone here. So I think now that we're gonna have these every Sunday, I think it's gonna start to really, really build on the community that we already have, which is just so nice. Dobry now means good night in Slovak. We can learn all different kinds of languages here, which is really nice. Dobry noc. Ah, that sounds very much like. I think that's really funny with all of the different Slavic languages that have kind of just little tiny difference. I mean, it's probably like the Scandinavians. What's for dinner? What is for dinner? I've already eaten. It's 10 here. You must be in a different time zone than us because dinner has been long past. I see Califordine has both he and Christine are having a baby soon. So yes, they are. No ideas here for they are just Well, they think not a theme. Gute Nacht, absolute. It's only 4 p.m. here. Well, that makes sense then. Well, then you are in the United States. As you, I think you said Pennsylvania. Was that you, Carl? Yeah, no, it's bedtime here soon. I know Spanish people eat dinner at 10. Well, that is true. Norwegians, though, usually, traditionally, ate dinner at 5, actually. Yes, Pennsylvania. It's very difficult to end this stream. This is just such a such a pleasant thing, and sometimes in the painting course we do have to have a live stream where I can see you in little boxes and we can paint together. But that's something we have to do in the painting course, I think, instead of here in the live stream. All right, then. Oh, I still have a few brushes. I'm just gonna. I had so many different painting mediums, and in my turpentine now the things don't go off because I'm painting with a different oil. Always difficult to me to end a video with close friends too. Yeah, you know this, that is just kind of keeps going a little bit, and then you come onto a new topic, and at some point you kind of said goodbye for half an hour. Eating late is bad for digestion, but in Canada most people eat between 4 and 5 p.m. Yes, that's more what I'm used to. All right, I'm gonna end the stream now, and thank you all so much for joining, and hopefully I'll see you next week in the next stream. Oh, goodbye.